enabling embargoes using DSpace 5.5. To follow along, you're welcome to go to this link, wiki.lib.sun.ac.za, and then click here on the R guide link, and then you scroll down to customization. Now in this instance the embargo is mostly managed by the librarians, so I've put the customization of that in the operational guide. So you click on the operational guide there, and then you click on the embargo index there, and then the actual embargo link there. Alright, so before beginning I just want to mention that embargoes are a risk. If you do not do this properly, your embargoes might be available publicly. So I'm just warning you that you proceed at your own risk, and that we cannot accept any responsibility for data loss or corruption. And before you enable embargoes, it's best to test this embargo and become intimately familiar with how it works on your development system or spare infrastructure. Okay, the ability to embargo the items was introduced with DSpace 1.8x and then radically modified with DSpace versions 3x. And now with 5.5, embargoes are now activated during submission, and that submission allows you to have a simple or advanced form, which I'll go through later on. And then there under point 4 or paragraph 4, if you want to do retrospective embargo activation and deactivation, you need to use item and collection permissions, which is called policy management with DSpace, and that I will do a video of later on. And then once you have the embargoes enabled, you want to enable the request to copy function as well, and I'll have a video of that as well. Alright, there was an embargo routine or process with DSpace versions 1.8 and 3. So to migrate those embargoes to the new embargo system, I have a wiki page there, the pre 3.0 embargo migration routines. And then I've also added on what was discussed on the mailings. People wanted reports of the embargoes, and there are some scripts and tips on how to create reports for the embargoes. Okay, so for this webinar or tutorial, I'm going to click on the DSpace 5x link and set up my local DSpace instance to use embargoes. Again, just a warning about the change of embargoes, the fact that there's now a basic and advanced policy method for embargoes. Okay. So the first step is to decide whether you want to use the simple or advanced embargo form. We have elected to use the simple one, and to enable or disable that, we have to modify the DSpace config file. So we're going to log into our server, my local server, and then we're going to try and modify that. So let me log in there quickly. If you remember from the previous videos, this is the address, and then 09 Ubuntu 09 to log in. Okay, so now we're going to modify the DSpace config file, but we're going to modify the source part. We're going to modify it in the source code and then recompile. So we want to look for that step that says enable advanced form and make sure that it is not enabled. Enable advanced. Okay, so here we are. Here it is here. So this defaults to false, so we're going to leave it like that, to use the simple form, because it defaults to false there. So we just leave that as it is. Alright, then the next step, then is to modify the item submission XML file to enable these uploads. Okay, before we go there, I just want to discuss the two options there. There's one option where you simply have what they call the access step, and that embargoes the whole item in metadata, everything included. And then there's an upload with embargo step, which just does restrictions on the bitstream level. So for our repository, we do restrictions simply on the bitstream level. So I'm just going to demonstrate that, and here's the configuration example. But let's do it on a newly installed system, and we do this to modify the item submission XML file, and we copy and paste that in there. And now we must look for the default steps and enable under the default submissions there, step definitions, ID collection, go further, ID sample, okay. There's quite a lot of information in this. Yeah, so we want to look at the traditional submission process, well, the default one, which defines the default thing. So we go beyond this processing, we go beyond this progress bar, step 2. Okay, step 2 we describe the item. Step 3, now this is if you're going to embargo the whole item, this is the step you enable by removing those characters there and removing these characters there. That will enable that. But we're not going to do by item access, we're going to do it by upload. So we want to enable this one here. We want to enable the upload with embargo features, and then here, there, delete that. But then it says here we must disable the previous one. So we disable this step here by using the same characters there, and finish off there by closing it there. So now this upload step without embargo is disabled. Now we upload with embargo, and this is enabled. So there we are, it's done. So now all submissions will have an embargo feature for setting a date limit on bitstreams. So we just save that, Control O, and we write that out. Okay, so let's see an example there. I commented it out, step 4, the upload there, it's commented out there, you see there, I commented out with those two, and then I removed those there to enable, I removed those there to enable this step, the upload with item step. Then of course you rebuild the web apps to enable this. I'm going to leave that as an exercise for you, but this is the way to set up the embargo. Then I suggest look at the DSpace documentation. It has examples of screenshots. Sorry, it has screenshots of how to use this embargo, or how the submission process will look. So if we scroll down there, they've got the embargo, DSpace embargo functionality. They talk about it there. DSpace config, enable there, then enabling the form, the difference between the. So here is the screenshot with the access step. And you see here it simply says embargo until this date, and you must put it in that format, and it embargoes the whole item. Okay, so what we've done is the embargo with upload step. This one is enabled here now. Now when you upload the file, there you're required to select the file and then give it a description, and then during the upload also give it a date, and up to when you give a date until it's embargoed until that date, and then you can give a reason for the embargo there as well. So we've selected this one. When you do the upload step there, you see the upload step in green. That is when if you want to embargo the item, you put in the date there. If you don't want to embargo the item, leave the date blank, leave the reason blank, and you carry on. Okay, again, there's some description there with the advanced form, but I'm not going to bother you with the advanced form. If you want to use the advanced form, once you become familiar with it, you're welcome. Okay, so that I think concludes the embargo, enabling the embargo. To embargo an item, I will do another video of, as I said, I will do these videos of the retrospective embargo activation, and then I'll do a video of enabling the request to copy function. Just for those who have old systems and are thinking of moving to 5.5, there I've added a page for how to first of all check and lift the old embargoes, alright, and then run the embargo migration routine here. Right, but to be sure that everything is working correctly, I suggest that you try here with these embargo reports, try and extract the embargo report. This code might be outdated because now we have DSpace 5x, not 3x. So if anybody out there has an updated SQL query for that, that'd be great. I will add it to the wiki if they send it to me. And then for DSpace versions 1.8x, there you can find the embargo by that. Okay. Well, thank you very much, and that concludes my demonstration or tutorial on how to enable embargoes with DSpace 5.5. Thank you. Bye. Goodbye.